Designing the hunter-killer from scratch is going to take a lot of considerations between build materials, a flight control system, computer modeling, thrust-to-weight ratios, economic costs, and many more important details. A good place to actually begin is to see if any other individuals have already attempted this specific design. One YouTuber, by the name Cam Drone, designed the drone variation in his RC build. His model is able to take flight and be maneuvered easily through the use of a controller. His model utilizes non-retractable landing gear and inverted helicopter-like propellers. While he was ultimately successful in his creation, we will not be utilizing the drone variation with the forward-facing red eyes on the faceplates or helicopter-like propellers to ensure we get a genuine feel for the actual movie mechanics. Accuracy in design is also important to maintain the aesthetics. This model did not fully commit to the actual dimensions of the HK drone in terms of wingspan, body design, and the angle of the tail rudders. Another YouTuber by the name Brian Parkin designed an accurate scale version of the HK drone variant using the proper engine types, but may not have been ultimately able to maintain sustained stable flight. However, the dimensions of his drone and body design are extremely accurate and true to the version presented in the movie. Lastly, a college group called Link All developed a fairly large version of the HK Airstrike as the prototype for their drone delivery system back in 2013. Utilizing a hybrid design between the Airstrike and the drone, they were able to get some flight time out of this exceptionally large craft. Although I will be designing my hunter-killer off the Airstrike variation, I will be utilizing some concept art from the movie as my primary design reference. As you can see before you, this concept render features a hybrid design between the Airstrike and the drone variants. The two forward-facing digital cameras on the faceplate are absent in this design, in addition to several other minor differences, such as the lack of a wing-attached missile storage system, a larger underbelly platform for the attached firearm system, and considerably thicker and shorter wings than those presented in the movie. The thickness and the length of the two wings will be incredibly important moving forward, as the overwhelming majority of the load bearing will be channeled through these wings in addition to the wiring requirements to bridge the engine components to the main body. An underbelly weapon system will not be included. Instead, I plan to install miniature spotlights to the underbelly to better match the airstrike's characteristics and reduce the overall weight of the craft. The first version of this model will have non-articulating thrusters, as the forces and load may be too great in the absence of a stronger metal wing frame. In order to start my design, I'll need to determine the scale of the craft I want to build. Utilizing the movie, we can pause during a rare top-down view of the HK Airstrike and utilize ratios of the engines in comparison to the total wingspan to get a better idea of how the engine selection will ultimately affect the size of the final product. Using 90mm electric ducted fans, or EDF, from Amazon will serve as a good starting point. The schematics show that this particular EDF is 112mm in diameter, so utilizing our 1 to 11 engine to wingspan ratio, we can estimate that the total wingspan should be around 1200mm, or about 50 inches, plus or minus a few design changes. If the craft is truly symmetrical, each individual wing should be around 20 inches, and the body should be around 10 inches to bring us to our 50-inch total. Going back to the EDFs, the specs tell us that with an 8S LiPo battery and between 29.6 and 33.6 voltage output, these engines should produce anywhere from 3.46 kilograms to 4.28 kilograms of thrust. By using 3 engines, we could get 10 to 12 kilograms of thrust total, or about 22 to 28 pounds. Thrust to weight ratios are important for drones as we cannot go below a ratio of 1 without flight, and the higher we can get that ratio will be more beneficial for our drone in the overall performance. Another important consideration is the print bed size of my 3D printer. With a JG Aurora A5, I have about a 12 by 12 by 12.5 print bed size to work with. Any individual part that is outside of this will need to be redesigned or built in a way that they can connect with the other pieces in some manner. Spotlight placement should match the movie variant in addition to LED placement that should be considered with pre-designed cutouts for wiring needs. This is enough information to get started designing, but in the next episode we're going to look at some more design constraints before we actually begin drawing in Solidworks. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next episode.